insurance that will cover your venue's requirements. Make sure that they can do a walkthrough of your venue to supply adequate equipment. Can your DJ supply ceremony microphones for the officiant, the bride, and the groom? Do they have battery-operated equipment to be out in the field where there is no power? Make sure that they can handle preceding ceremony music, processional and recessional. Announce the grand entrance and entire bridal party. Do you need an experience and not just some guy that's going to play a playlist? Make sure that you hire someone that can get the job done and take care of your every total request. We are Total Request Entertainment. For booking and contact information, call Eleazar Maldonado at 414-366-7102. 414-366-7102. Or visit the website at TotalRequestENT.com.
What you doing still in bed, man? Yo, you need to punch in for that Morning Shift Mke with Sayer right here on HiddenHeartRadio.com exclusively from 10 to 2 p.m. Check it out, man. You're missing out.
The Morning Shift Mke uncut. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on HiddenHeartRadio.com. Real topics, real news you can use. You dig? You can also catch us at the Post of the City page on Meta or Facebook or HiddenHeartRadio.com.
Pitch control.
The Morning Shift Mke uncut on HiddenHeartRadio.com.
Are you finally ready to look into your real estate? Are you finally prepared to have a conversation about your finances? Because in life, there's never really a more perfect time than the present to get prepared for your future. And wouldn't your future feel a lot brighter with answers from someone ready to dive into the conversations and answer your questions? So let's walk into our purpose and step into our greatness with an author, a real estate expert, and a financial literacy guru. Let's go on the journey with Coach Erica. Presented by the Morning Shift Mke with Sayer William. Every Friday at 10 a.m. only on HiddenHeartRadio.com.
Good morning, grand risings, all those things you say to the folks you rock with in the AM, man. And y'all know the rules. We're going to tell them to you again. Always after, never before. You take care of your personal hygiene, man. You cannot be in nobody's face and you ain't got yourself together. They're going to hit you in the eye. You don't want to get hit in the eye, do you? So don't do it. Get yourself together, man. It's Friday. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters. For those that don't end up in the masjid at 1 p.m., make sure y'all clock in, man. We going to ding bop. I'm going to give you a little something to ride to. Y'all know what it is. It's Friday. We go on a journey with none other than Coach Erica. And she has a lovely guest. So I done made y'all wait long enough, and we're going to jump right in and get to it. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. We are back on the journey with Coach Erica, the only show where you're going to get conversations around mindset, money, and real estate. We made it back. We made it through the holiday, y'all. I am back, excited to be back here. We have an amazing guest. I'm not going to talk too much today because I really want you all to get this information that she has to offer. It is going to be a very informative show, a show that could potentially change your life. Yes, change your life with the information that we are going to be sharing today. So I just kind of want to check in. I hope everybody had a good holiday, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever you are celebrating. I hope you had an opportunity to spend some time with friends and family. I had an amazing holiday. I actually just literally flew back in last night, so I'm a little tired today, but I made sure that I had my energy up today. for the show. So my energy is all the way up on 10. I'm ready.
I cannot picture you without it.
You can't picture me without energy? Okay. Sometimes the coach doesn't have energy. I'm a real person. But I have to make sure my energy is right. And it's right because energy is so contagious. And so I don't want to be giving off bad vibes. I want to be giving off good vibes. But I'm excited. Not only for our guest that's here, I'm excited that the new year is coming because what's my journey word? Multiplication. I can't say it enough. Year 2025 will be a year of nothing but multiplication for my life. And I'm so excited to get to 2025 so I can see all the multiplication and live through it and experience. And for those of you that are just tapping in, if you don't know, now you know. For 2025, you need to have your journey word. What is that journey word that we've been talking about? That journey word is that one word that if you tell someone that word, it should tell you exactly what you are focusing on for the year. So if your word is focus, my word is multiplication. That one word should sum up what your year, your focus is going to be about. So if you don't have a journey word, make sure you get that journey word into place. The other thing, I got to touch on this because this is my last Friday of 2024, y'all. This is the last Friday of 2024 of On the Journey with Coach Erica. But don't worry, I'll be back next Friday for 2025. But for 2024, this is the last show. So I have to stress the importance of making those goals. We need you to make goals. You should already know your goals. My favorite thing is, what are your quarter one goals? Let's take a step back. Quarter one goals are your goals that you are working on from January to March. You should already know what those goals are going to be. So personally, you should have your own personal set of goals that you are personally working towards for 2025. And if you are an entrepreneur, your business should have its own set of goals for quarter one that your business is working on or working towards for the first quarter of the year. And I'm going to take it a step further. If you have a family, if you in a relationship, guess what? Those need goals too. So whatever y'all need to work on or whatever the family needs to get better at for quarter one, that family need to sit down and have a conversation. How are we going to do better for quarter one? Okay. So everybody should have those quarter one goals ready. The new year is here. The time is now, not January 1st, not woo. It's January 1st. It's the new year. I'm going to be a new me, a better version of me. Everything changing. No, the change starts today. The change starts now. Get those goals written down now. If you haven't taken a moment to put aside time to personally reflect and process the year, it's important to go back and process the year. We've all lived through the year, whether it's been good, ups, down, whatever you want to call it, but have you actually taken the time to process the year and figure out like, whew, what went well? What do I need to do better at? What goals do I need to go back and revisit for 2025? That is so important in the process of growth, in the process of change, in the process of what we call this journey to success, to take some time to reflect and process the year and then get those goals together for quarter one and then get that journey word. And I want you to live, breathe, and say your journey word. You know me, I'm going to say multiplication every time. Words, the power of the tongue is very powerful. So you need to speak your truth. You need to live your truth. You need to believe it. You need to put it out in the atmosphere and let everyone know what is your journey word for 2025. The other thing that I want to touch on quick today is change, right? The last Friday of the new year, the last Friday, 2024 of On the Journey with Coach Erica. And we all, I'm sure, are feeling the pressure of, ooh, it's about to be the new year. I want to do this. I want to get healthier. I want to lose weight. I want to save more money. All the things. I want to start my business. I want to write my book, right? Whatever that goal, that vision, that desire is for you, we all have them. But here's the thing. Change. How do we get to change? Well, in order to get to change, I'm going to give 3 words. Change requires time, effort, and strategy. Time, effort, and strategy requires change, okay? So we all want the change, but my question is, as the coach, how are you preparing for that change? And again, the preparation does not start January 1st. The preparation starts now, today, in this moment, in this hour. So, for example, this show is about mindset, money, and real estate. If you need to get your mind right, we've talked a lot over the last couple weeks about what we need to do to get our mind right. The process of execution, the process of getting our mind right. What does that mean? When we say change starts now, the time, the effort, and the strategy, have you taken the time to figure out where you're going with your maybe not so great thinking? Have you taken the time to realize what that looks like for you? Have you started making effort to change the process in your mind? And remember, we talked about sometimes in order to execute, we have to eliminate. So some of you out there got some people in your circle you need to eliminate. Some of you out there have some habits that you need to work on and begin to eliminate, okay? Some of you need to add. You need to add the right people to your circle. You need to place yourself in the right environments, okay? Are you putting that effort forward? And what's your strategy to get there? How are you going to get there? How are you going to make that shift for yourself? If money is your thing, are you aware of the debts that you have? Nobody wants to think about debts. I get it. But my favorite saying is, how can you be in control of your money if you're not aware of what you have? In order to be in control, you need to be aware. So you need to be aware of the amount of debt you have, the amount of money you have, and then figuring out your strategy of how you're going to get there and putting in the effort. And so again, it doesn't start January 1st. It starts now. So maybe now is the time to take all those credit cards, put them away, stop spending. Now is the time to stop wasting money on Starbucks coffee. All my Starbucks lover, I love me some Starbucks. As a side note, I actually had me a nice refresher before I got here. But seriously, a Starbucks drink, anybody who's a Starbucks lover, a tall drink is about $6. For people that go to Starbucks every single day, some of y'all are really addicted and go multiple times a day. Now, I'm not that bad, just for disclosure. I go here and there and have me a nice drink. But guess what? Those $6, $10, $12 here that you're spending, that adds up over time. And if you take the time to look at what you're spending, you will probably be like, wow, I spent that much this week just on Starbucks. So we have to begin to be aware and make those efforts and figure out the strategy. And as part of that process of planning, being realistic, because I don't expect you to say today, well, Coach Erica, I'm just not going to have Starbucks anymore. I would quite frankly say that you're setting yourself up for failure. I would tell you that, because that's not realistic. When we're making goals, we need to be realistic with goal making. Don't do something just cold turkey. Okay, can things happen to cold turkey sometimes for people? Yes, it can. I'm not going to say that it can't happen. But when you're goal making, I want you to be realistic in the fact that take small steps, take small strides, okay? The point is getting the process started, preparing, you're getting started, you're moving towards it. So maybe in my Starbucks example, maybe you go from having Starbucks every day to maybe 1 or 2 times a week. You're getting started. You're preparing. You're creating a strategy. And then when you get a little bit better, guess what? You're down to 1 time a week. And when you get a little bit better and better and better, you might just stop, because you might realize, I'm wasting too much money on this. I could be putting this money in a different area. Or maybe Starbucks just becomes not a daily thing, but a treat. I'm out today, it's the weekend, I'm shopping. You know what? I'm going to treat myself to a Starbucks. Whatever that looks like for you. But the point is, we got to be ready. We have to start preparing. And again, if you're just tapping in, we're talking about change. And the fact that change requires time, effort, and strategy. And the time is to prepare now, not January 1st. I need you to prepare now. I need you to hit the reset button now. Matter of fact, I challenge everyone to hit the reset button this Sunday. Hit it Sunday. The first start of the week, hit it Sunday. Start it now. Even if you end up having a few hiccups, that's okay. Reset again. Do it again. Start over. Do what you got to do. But we need you to start now. But I want to make sure that we have ample time because we have an amazing guest today, y'all. Listen, we got 2 Ericas in the building, okay? Don't mess with Ericas, okay? Don't mess with us, okay? Because we are those girls. Okay, let me get off that. But we have an amazing guest. We got a caller. Hold on, caller. I gotta introduce. Hold on.
Just hold on.
But we have I gotta give her some time. Hold on, caller. I'm gonna come back to you. But listen, she is amazing. She took the time out her busy schedule to drive all the way in today from Chicago. Shout out to my Chicago people. If you are on the line, we have one of yours truly in the building. She drove all the way here this morning to Milwaukee to be with us, to share her expertise and her knowledge. She's been in the tax industry since 2013. She's deeply connected to her community. She specializes in small taxes for small business, startup entrepreneurs. So my entrepreneurs, check in. You need to be on this line this morning. She also specializes in alleviating tax debt. She is the owner and founder of Tax Strategy. And here we go. Her business, Tax Strategy, is all about informed clients are the best tax experience. She wants her clients to inform. That's an accountant I want. And as a side note, I gotta brag a little bit. I have the pleasure, because Erica is actually my accountant. Let me tell y'all real quick before I have her come in. She helped me out a lot. She is so patient. She is so informative. She is very organized. And organization for me is key. I'm a very organized person. I do not like chaos. Can I deal with it? I can if need be. But I prefer organization. I prefer structure. And Erica brings just that. She is so organized. She has a document for everything. Like, Erica, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, Erica, I'm going to email you this. Use this. Saves my life, let me tell you. And I'm so honored to be one of her clients. I'm so honored to have her here. And I'm going to be quiet because she has so much to share. So without further ado, I want to introduce yours truly, Erica Lamb, all the way from Chicago, Illinois this morning, Tax Strategy. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Erica. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. So I just want to start off. I know I gave introduction, but there's so much more about you that the world doesn't know. Can you tell us a little bit more in depth about you and your business and what it is that you do?
Yes. So I'm an enrolled agent, an IRS enrolled agent, and that pretty much means that I have the ability to represent all taxpayers before the IRS at all levels of the IRS. And it's a deeper dive in being able to fully help each client understand the process, what happens, what should have happened with their return, or try and get them the best representation possible.
Okay, awesome. And just I guess I'll kind of go from a real estate angle because we talk a lot about real estate. And so for those of you that are just checking into the show and maybe don't know, I personally, I am actually a coach, but I'm also a real estate investor. And so one thing that I always chuckle about, because people will talk to me and say, hey, Erica, can you help me? I want to get into real estate. I want to get into flipping houses. I want to make money. And I'm like, okay. I see it. But what they don't know is all the behind the scenes that we deal with in real estate when it comes to taxes. And so I just want to point out to viewers out there who are real estate investors, and Erica can add on to this, why it's so important to have an accountant. Now I'm gonna pick on y'all for a little bit. 2025, 2024 taxes, this is the year to stop using your cousin. This is the year to stop using your friend that said they know how to do taxes. This is the year to stop going online and doing it yourself, because at one point in time, I used to try to do my taxes myself. Okay, all these things. But listen, this is the year to get together. We're talking about preparation. How do you prepare? Get the right people on your team so you can prepare. And if you are an entrepreneur or if you are in real estate, you absolutely need to have an accountant on your team. And I think Erica would agree, because there's so many layers to real estate and taxes in particular. So that property that you flipped, and you make that money, let me be the first to tell you, IRS is coming, okay? I won't go too deep. If you're not doing a 1031 exchange, maybe we'll save that topic for another show to talk about what is a 1031 exchange in the world of real estate. But if you're not doing that, and you just walked away with a $50,000, $60,000 check at closing, yeah. When the tax time come around, you are paying taxes on that money, and you are paying taxes, correct me if I'm wrong, Erica, according to your tax bracket.
Yes.
So that percentage can look different from person to person. So this is why it's so important to have people like Erica on your team who are informed and who know how to lead and guide you when you're making decisions. Because yes, we want you to make money, but we also want you to be prepared from a tax standpoint, because not being prepared can really get you in a situation. And Erica knows I am the queen of like, Erica, I got this going on. How do I do this? How do I figure out? I'm going to buy this house. What do I need to do? But I value that so much. And when we talk about building that team, that's important. I'm not an accountant. Taxes is not my expertise. So yes, I can give you some basic knowledge of, hey, you need to make sure you do this, you do that. But I stay in my lane, and being an accountant is not in my lane. And I can't stress enough, that's why when we talk about preparing for this new year, we need to be prepared and have the right people on our team. So Erica, what would you share maybe to some startup entrepreneur businesses, or somebody listening in who maybe wants to start a business, who has a business, they don't have an accountant, they're still doing some of the things that I mentioned as far as maybe doing taxes themselves, maybe they are using somebody who call themselves a certified accountant, whatever that looks like. But what would be your recommendations about how that person can get started from a tax standpoint?
So one of the recommendations I normally have is for folks to interview their tax professional. Not everyone does the same thing, but they should at least have a network of people that they can rely on to say, if that's not their particular specialty, to kind of refer them out. I do that with several folks in a network, and for things that they don't handle, I will vice versa. We stay in our lane. And so that's the main thing, to find out when you're approaching that tax professional, to find out whether or not they can do what it is that you're requesting them to do, or what's happened for the year, as well as being able to foresee what you intend to do or your goals upcoming. Buying or purchasing a home, that's a big thing. Maybe you don't have that yet, but you're planning on purchasing, say, a multi-unit, a couple of multi-units before you get your home. That person needs to be able to guide you in that area. So it's great to interview. We interview our clients as well. The goal is to see who's a good fit. Now, someone who's a good fit for me is someone who likes to stay informed or learn more about things. Not that they want to dive into it and do it themselves, but they also have to be able to follow instruction. And that means that there are things that you need to do on your end to help tax season be better. You know, we only have that one time normally to meet at the beginning of the year. But if we're planning accordingly, we would then have either quarterly check-ins, things of that nature, when we're actually trying to attack the tax planning aspect.
Yes. Preparation, ladies and gentlemen. We have to prepare. And one of the things that I want to point out that Erica does, and I love that she does this, is she has workshops throughout the year, okay? I mean, that is just like bomb.com. You get this bomb accountant and the informative. I can't stress enough. She's very informative. She does workshops throughout the year. I like to tune into the workshops because I learn so much every time, and I can take notes and I can take a refresher like, oh yeah, that's right, I do need to do this. So that is something that she offers. Do you have any workshops coming up anytime soon?
We're going to start them back bi-weekly, and it won't be a full workshop. It'll just be a small webinar in regard to some of the things that I've seen this past season that folks weren't keeping up with. So kind of give them a guideline similar to going over like the W-4. A lot of folks that are business owners, maybe they're just starting out, they also have a regular job.
Yes.
And being able to update that form. That is one of our biggest issues with some that have both the W-2 and 1099 side, that they need to make adjustments. They haven't made them in years.
Yes.
And continue to owe taxes.
And that just helped me think of a topic that I do want to touch on. Again, kind of leading back to my real estate people out here. It is so important, if you are a real estate investor and you are hiring contractors on your job site, you need to collect a W-9. I'm sure Erica would agree. A W-9 needs to be collected. And I do a lot of educating to my contractors. Not all of them, some of them. But I have to let them know, like, listen here. If you're going to work on the job site, we need a proper W-9. And I have to inform them, you know, your W-9, because I'm not, number one, going to pay your taxes for you next year. You're going to pay your taxes. I paid you. You're going to pay your taxes. So it just being informed that the importance when you are in that world, you need to be collecting W-9s from contractors. And you also need to have an accountant, because your accountant can then process the, 1099?
It's processing the 1099 for them, or if you're a regular employee and you have payroll, we also process the W-2 as well. I did want to make mention, though, in regards to the 1099, it's for folks that you're giving cash to, over $600 for the year. But for folks that you're paying via debit, credit card, they should be able to capture that on their own merchant account.
Right. All right. So for those of you that are just checking in, we have Erica Lamb from Tax Strategy here to talk to us about all tax related things. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. Maybe you just need assistance with your taxes in general. You need to tap in and tune in so you can be a part of this informative conversation that we're happening.
I got a question.
Yes.
Now, you got a lot of cats, they owe child support.
Okay.
And so, in their mind, they just gonna take my taxes anyway.
And not file.
They just don't file. Tell us how wrong that is.
Well, it comes to bite you in the end, because the IRS knows that you made money throughout the year. Everyone who has a regular job and regular employer, they issue the W-2 forms to show what payroll taxes went in for that particular person. So the IRS knows that there was money made. And if you make over the standard deduction, which changes every year, if you make over that amount, you are required to file. So it's only a matter of time that the IRS is going to file on your behalf. And then you're stuck with that bill. Now, not necessarily stuck. There's obviously ways to challenge that. But if you're not in compliance by filing your taxes every year like you're supposed to, there's additional penalties and fees associated with that.
And I always tell Cash, man, let them take it, because that's a payment towards what you owe.
Exactly. It's a payment towards it. Yeah.
Yes. So we do have a caller. I don't want to make the caller wait. Did he hang up?
But you can call back. That was Brother Rick.
Okay, Brother Rick.
Matter of fact, I'm going to
We got the lines back open.
We had him on hold. Let me just call
Sorry
him.
about that. So kind of just going a little bit more into tax debt. That can be a very stressful time. Ask me how I know, because I've experienced tax debt before. It's not a good place to be in. And this is why I can't stress the importance enough of why you need to have an accountant on your team, somebody that you can be consulting with, working through these things, coming up with a plan of how to go about addressing your tax debt, knowing how to set up arrangements with the IRS if that's what it is that you need to do, or your plan to eliminate the debt. Do you have any other insight or information that you would share or recommend or advise someone when it comes to being in a tax debt situation?
Yeah, you have to address it full on. There are only periods of time where you might get some leeway that the IRS might be behind before they, eventually catch up to you. But they're doing that right now.
Yeah.
So the delays from the pandemic have finally started to hit earlier on in this year, and throughout the year, they've been issuing letters of final notice and levies.
Ooh,
so
yikes.
a levy is pretty much where they take your bank account, hold your bank account until they swipe the money that's owed to them. They can also put liens on your property. And so to try and avoid that, getting down, that path, it's just addressing it head on. Coming up with, most of the time it's for folks that haven't filed prior year returns,
Okay.
being in compliance and getting those returns filed, confirming the full amount that you owe, because now that it's already late, you now need to know what penalties have been assessed, what interest has been assessed to that, getting the full balance, and then addressing it.
Okay.
There's plenty of options available to folks depending on their financial need.
Okay. Good information that we all need. And again, for those of you coming in, we have Erica Lamb from Tax Strategy here talking about all things tax related. If you have questions about taxes, tax relief, tax debt, Erica, how can they reach you?
So our office number is 833-204-0005. 833-204-0005. I can also be reached online. They can do their online booking at yourtaxstrategy.info. yourtaxstrategy.info.
Okay, awesome. I just want to put that out there just because it's so important. This is such an important topic, and I want to make sure that everybody is able to receive this information throughout the line. If you are on the air or able to or have questions, I also encourage you to call in. The phone lines are open. You can call in at 414-502-9447. We have Erica Lamb in the building who can answer any questions that you have tax related. The other thing that Erica does that I really like, for those of you who need an accountant or would like to have a conversation to see if her accounting firm is a good fit for you, is Erica does 15-minute free consultations. So if you contact her and schedule an appointment through the link, she can be able to do a consultation with you to kind of go over your situation and figure out if you are the best fit based on what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you need. So make sure you tap in. If you're just tuning in, we kind of started the show talking about preparing for the new year. And I cannot stress enough on this last Friday of the year, preparation. We have to prepare for the new year. And how do we start? By preparing financially. Number one, we start by preparing now. Number two, we start by making sure we get us an accountant on our team, somebody that we can tap into.
What is the benefits of getting, like, for outside of business, just personal folks, common man, getting a tax professional as opposed to like going to SDC, going to the library, or doing a TurboTax or any of that type stuff? Like,
Some of those services are like part of the Tax Advocate program, and those are free. You do have to fall within an income range in order to be able to qualify for those free services. One reason why someone would want to go to a tax professional, someone that specializes in what they currently have going on. I mean, it could be that they're collecting Social Security along with their retirement. It could be that they're still working and collecting part of Social Security and needing to know information about retirement. Seeing as though that they don't have a business. Is a number of reasons why they'd want to consult a tax professional. Yes, we do charge more most likely than your average, person down the street. But that's because you're getting professional service. And for the most part, ones that you should consider dealing with are folks that are open either all year round or at least past the actual tax season, because that's normally when you get your letters in the mail saying, right, there might be an issue or whichever. You want to be able to find them. So sometimes people go to preparers where when they actually submit the tax return, it says self-prepared, which means that you did it yourself, even though you paid someone else to do it. On there, they're not legally able to sign the tax return because they don't have a PTIN or not registered with the IRS. So when the IRS comes looking to say what happened to all these deductions or credits that you have on here, most of the time it happens with the credits, that really you're the only one that's on the hook for that. We are also on the hook for that when we have to legally sign the return. And so it can be penalties against us if we didn't do our due diligence, as well as, you as the taxpayer would have to pay the difference of whatever errors were made there. So the goal is to, yes, you have someone else on the hook. Taxpayer takes what we would call, say, first lien, right? Right. They're the main ones because you've also signed off on that tax return saying that everything was correct and accurate. However, we also take a hit if we incorrectly gave you a credit that you weren't supposed to get, things like that. So that's one of the reasons why you want to go to a professional, hopefully that's someone that is an expert in that area and or has a network that can get you the help that you need for your particular situation.
Now, what should you look for, more things you should look for in selecting one?
One, that they're registered on the IRS website. So you can go and check them out, look for either their last name or the area that they're in, the zip code, and see whether or not they are registered with the IRS. Most of the time, well, all of the time when you're on, the AFSP filers, which is the annual filing season participant group, they are designated on that website. I'm an enrolled agent, so I would have the enrolled agent designation or a CPA. And so those are the top folks that you might look for. Some of the other folks, if they're just registered with the IRS, but they don't have any of the other designations, you may find them on there also. But we all have the same requirement to e-file tax returns and follow the same rules, with the exception of the other ones that don't have any of those designations. They're not under Circular 230, which is our ethical review, and to determine that we follow certain rules that we can be penalized for, or stripped of our ability to e-file and things like that.
Now, here in Milwaukee, you got a lot of self-employment, you know what I mean? You got a lot of people, they on their grind. They, whatever they doing, they on their grind. Legally, of course, I'm talking. But these people, their business is not registered. They ain't necessarily filing no taxes. How do
That's all
they
bad
address
right there.
that?
Well, they'll wind up in the same category as the folks you mentioned on child support.
Everyone's
they'll eventually get caught up, and the IRS will file tax returns on your behalf and then require you to make the payments of whatever they assessed for that particular return or couple of returns.
And I would just like to add, just going to the things we've talked about on the show, why would I, if I'm a person that maybe I'm not in real estate, maybe I don't have a business, maybe I'm not an entrepreneur of some sort, the question that was asked is, why should I have an accountant? Number one, if anybody just heard what Erica said, it brings security. Because when you go to the H&R Block, the Tax Act, I can't think of all the names, like she said, that person can't sign on your behalf, if that's what I heard her say correctly. But her as an accountant, as a licensed professional accountant, she has to sign on that. That's security in my perspective, my viewpoint, because that means that if something goes wrong, something goes left, goes bad, guess what? Not only do you have to answer to it, but your accountant has to answer to it. I couldn't imagine being in a place like that on my own, trying to figure out what do I do next? Whereas if you're dealing with the person at a tax act or H&R Block, and no shade to them, let me give a disclosure, that I'm not trying to say that they're not good places to go to. That's not the message that I'm sending. But to answer the question is, you can't call them. You can't text them. You can't email them. You can't send a message and say, hey, I just got this letter. What do I do? Your accountant, Erica knows. I'll send a text. I'll send a call. I'll send an email if I have a question. And she's very good and diligent about getting back to me in great time to help me feel better, answer my questions, whatever that looks like. So not only that security, but I would also have to say giving you that confidence, because you know that you're working with a professional that understands that world and knows how to guide you in some sort of capacity to make sure that you're making the best choices when it comes to your taxes, or knowing how to go about that situation and handle it. And just also, again, I can't stress enough, on this journey to success, we have to have teams in place. I would say not only should you have an accountant on your team, you also need to have a financial advisor on your team. These are professionals that you need to be working with around the clock throughout the year. When we talk about this journey to success, getting our finances together, getting ourselves on point, it is vital that you have not only an accountant, but a financial advisor. We can't go deep into the financial advisor realm today, but that is important as well too, because you need to be able to be sitting down with someone, talking about your investments that you have, talking about your financial plans, or where you stand, or where maybe you need to make some improvements in certain areas. Those are conversations. And same with your accountant, whether you're an entrepreneur, real estate investor or not, you need to be able to build relationships. Relationships, I've learned, are vital. You have to have good relationships and good teams built when we talk about getting ourselves to success. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I don't know everything. I stay in my lane. I am very big and quick to tell you, you know what? I'm going to have to get back to you on that, because I don't know the answer to that. And I'm not afraid to tell anyone that. But that's why I have people on my team who are smarter in the areas that I don't know, because then I can learn from them and tap into them, and vice versa. That's what it's about, that building that team, having that collaboration. That's how you grow. That's how you become more informed, in my opinion, when you are on your journey to success. Erica, is there any other, I guess, closing things that you would recommend to anyone preparing for the tax season? We have the tax season right around the corner. I'm not looking forward to it. Side note. Oh my God, I'm not. Real estate investors understand, but I am not looking forward to the tax season.
Is that because you did what I told you to do?
Okay. Truth moment. I did. But tax season, y'all, it stresses me. It still stresses me. And I have the right people on my team, and I'm doing all the things that my accountant advises me to do. But it's just a lot. Taxes, maintaining things, it's a lot. I'll be the first to put it out there. I'm the first person to put myself out there, but I still do what I need to do. But it's just what it is for me for the season. But we have the season right around the corner. For some of you, maybe you're excited. Maybe you got like a ton of money coming in. I don't know what is happening, but shout out to y'all if y'all do. But how can one prepare for this tax season that's coming up? What are some closing remarks or suggestions that you would make to get ready for the season? Because it is here.
Yes, it is here. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that I'm a licensed enrolled agent. And so although we can handle a variety of tax matters and issues, we specialize in certain areas. So I would most definitely recommend that someone go ahead to start interviewing professionals, because whether it's not me, hopefully you are still looking at choosing a tax professional that specializes in the areas that are best for you for what has happened for 2024, because that's already over.
Yep.
You need to address that. But then also looking at gauging whether or not they're able to help you with your current goals and what you want to do. Most people want to purchase homes or start businesses, things like that. They need to make sure that that particular professional, regardless of what level they are, that they can help them in that area. And so just probing with questions there. The other thing is making sure that you get all of your financial documents together. That generally happens after January 31st. Sometimes people can get that electronically from their employer or from other avenues and things like that that come in just before January. But you want to make sure that you have everything and bring it to the table at that time. Not too soon, because we don't use pay stubs. And anybody filing any tax returns with a pay stub, you already know you're wrong.
Wait a minute now. You got these dealerships telling people, just bring your pay stub in and we going to use it.
You could probably do that just to get the car. Maybe they want to confirm that you have income in order to get that loan.
Okay.
But that's totally different than taxes. Okay. What's on your last pay stub is not usually accurate.
So I got another question. Who should be itemizing?
Anyone who has had a lot of deductions for charity, property taxes, mortgage interest, medical expenses outside of the premiums. Premiums don't count because you already get that pre-tax when it comes out from your employer. And you have medical miles or charity miles, things like that. All of that together still needs to be more than whatever the standard deduction is for that year. Once again, that changes, it goes up. Soon, if it's not extended, it's going to go down drastically. So it's based on what happens for that year. Now, if you have more expenses in those areas specifically for that, and it's more than standard deduction, then you're itemizing. Outside of that, right now, most people are not itemizing, or the average folks are not itemizing. We'll say, maybe if you're not married and you're paying more than $16,000 in property taxes, okay, you're already on a good path. But would you really call that a good path if that was your tax bill?
Right.
Now, say you haven't been filing in a number of years, and you may have worked a job here and there, temp service or whatever, but you never really filed your taxes. You ain't got these W-2s, forms, or nothing, but now you're ready to go try to file your taxes. How far back in your work history do you got to go dig up and get this information to be able to?
Well, technically, you're supposed to file all years. However, depending on how far it goes back, it really determines whether or not there was
long time.
It determines. It depends on whether or not there was actually a tax liability or requirement to file. So that requirement, once again, is anything over the standard deduction. If it was only W-2 work, regular job work. If you were in fact doing anything self-employed, $400 is your limit. So $400 total, anything over it, you were supposed to file for those years. Now, there is a cutoff because sometimes the IRS is only going back a set number of years in order to say, hey, these are required filings to go forward. But that does depend on whether or not you owed money for those particular years. They may request that you go ahead to file them. So the best way to determine whether or not you had that filing requirement is to pull up your wage and income statements. You can do that on irs.gov and create your online account. You get that opened up and look for your wage and income statements, and you'll be able to determine, what that amount looks like for that particular year. They're not unmasked online, though. So if you need an unmasked version, which is what you would need to present to the tax professional,
When
you would
say
need.
unmasked, what you mean?
You know how you have truncated X's before your social? You only have the last 4 digits or last 4. The entire transcript is like that. So you only get part of the name of the employer. Say if it was J.C. Penney, you'd only see J.C. on there, not the penny part. Literally, I just saw one like that. And so in order to get it unmasked, you'd have to call the IRS in order to have that.
And like companies that went out of business and no longer around, that information will be on there too?
Oh, yeah. They keep track of that. They want to know how much you owe them.
This has been so informative. If you just tapped in, we actually even went over a little over the time today. We have talked about so much good information that we all need, whether you're an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, you're not in business, you're just filing your W-2, whatever that looks like. This has been very informative. I want to say thank you, Erica, for coming. This is Erica Lamb. If you don't know, she's from Tax Strategy all the way out of Chicago, Illinois. Erica, it has been a pleasure. It has been, again, so informative. I am going to tell you, world, the time is now. Change is needed now. How do we prepare now? You can start by contacting Erica and getting you an accountant on your team. It is so important to have the right people on our team that is going to help assist us on our journey to success. Erica, can you one more time let everyone know how can they reach you if they would like to schedule their consultation for a tax consultation or whatever questions they may have, or maybe to determine if they are a good fit to work with you?
Absolutely. So the number to call is 833-204-0005. Once again, that's 833-204-0005. I can also be reached online at yourtaxstrategy.info. Preface this on info.
Okay, yourtaxstrategy.info?
Yes.
Okay. And you are on social media platforms as well, too, because I have some people tuned in here on the Facebook Live. How can people access you through social media?
Yeah, so for Facebook, it's facebook.com/yourtaxstrategy. And for Instagram, it's tax.strategy.
Okay. Thank you. So...
You want to mention your referral?
Oh, yes. And if you reach out to Miss Erica Lamb, please be sure to let her know that you are contacting her because you viewed in on the journey with Coach Erica today. That's key. Make sure you mention that you tuned into the show today, and that is how you find out about her. So that is key. But in closing, I just want to say this. We are here. We've almost at year 2025. It's a new year. It's a new opportunity to be great. It's a new opportunity to hit the reset button. It is an opportunity to create those different things that you want to create in your life. Writing a new book, starting a business, getting financially on track, maybe finding love, whatever that looks like for you. It's a new year. All things are possible, right? And so, again, in closing, get those journey words together, get focused, get your goals intact. Remember, Q1 goals, January through March, you should already know what you're working on personally, professionally, from an entrepreneur standpoint, what your family need to work on. The list goes on, but we need those goals in place. And remember, in order to change requires time, effort, and strategy. And most important, you need to prepare. You need to prepare, and you don't wait till January 1st. You start preparing now. And I challenge you all to start that preparation now and to hit that reset button and start your journey, your new journey for the new year. Start it this Sunday. Get a head start on it. And this is our last show 2024 on a Friday, but I will be back next Friday, January 3rd. So no worries. We will be right back here on the journey, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Hidden Heart Radio, the Morning Shift Mke with Syer Williams. And as I always say, it is time to get your mind right. It's time to get your money right, and make sure you get moving today, because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. The difference is how we actually use our 24 hours that we have today. Continue to be great. Continue to be amazing. I wish unto all of you nothing but multiplication in this year of 2025 and greatness. Until next year, y'all, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.
All right. That's it. That's all for On the Journey with Coach Erica. Y'all make sure y'all tune in every Friday, 10 a.m. Hey, and go check the playback. You can go on YouTube, WHHP TV. Go on Facebook, Hidden Hard Radio, and replay and get any information you missed. But now we're going to jump off into the music, man. Y'all keep it locked. The request lines is open, 414-502-9447. Let's go.
My shit get on and I ever get out of here, I'm like, with my first check, I'm putting the next person. We putting the next person. We putting the next person. We putting the next person. And we gonna run them through. We gonna make a machine of hit makers. We gonna get 10 million dones in a room, and we gonna run all the Milwaukee people through. So when we get out to that industry, they gonna talk about Atlanta.
Hip-hop, play that. Hip-hop, right here.